Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're talking about Hellbender, a new horror movie about the witch in the woods and her daughter's coming of age, or coming of rage, as it were.
Hellbender!
Hellbender!
Oh wait, that's the wrong song. Okay,
That is both an Ozzy and a Motorhead song.
It
because
is.
Lemmy wrote it, but Ozzy
performed it.
He wrote
yeah.
it for Ozzy, and then Motorhead did its own version, and now there's an ultimate version released by Ozzy that mixes both of them, so it's a duet.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, Hellbender is basically, it is a new movie that's on Shudder, and it is about this witch, like a century-old witch. Like, she's old. Like, we open up like in ye olden times in the movie, and her daughter that have hid out in the woods for years. It's very vague as to how many years the daughter's been around, but for a long time.
Yeah.
And they've been hiding from society because they're witches, and society fears witches.
Yeah.
As well as for other reasons we'll talk about in the spoiler section.
Yeah.
But basically, mom don't want daughter to engage with humans because that bad for both parties.
Yes.
This is also a film that was made under COVID conditions by a family. Like, it's literally like listed as an Addams Family film, not because of the Addams family, it's because the family's
literally called the Addams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the mother's the actual mother, and like one of the characters is the sister of the the lead actress.
Yeah, basically it's a mom and dad and two sisters.
Yep.
They're all in the movie.
And it was basically filmed under COVID conditions, under like great restrictions. So the reason why the movie's set in the middle of the woods is because that's a nice, safe place you can film a movie during COVID.
Yep.
And the reason why it's a very limited cast and it's very low budget is for that reason. It's basically, this is a family project as a movie, which, knowing that, makes it even more amazing how good this movie looks.
Yeah, it makes it really impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because this movie, like, it's got a lot of, like, iffy, digital effects, but knowing it was basically put together by like a family on a shoestring budget, you can forgive that.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Like this looks like a movie that was. This is like I don't know what the actual budget was, but this is like a $10,000 movie that looks like a $2 million movie.
I guarantee it was less than 10,000 because like it was obvious that this was shoestring as fuck.
Yeah,
but it works and it looks great.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's really impressive.
You know, the main part where you notice it is really in the acting. Like, the acting does not feel like a big budget movie acting. It feels like a low budget indie movie acting, but it works.
Yeah. This is kind of like the quality of this movie is kind of like, imagine if your like home movie project that you did with your family was just good enough to be on primetime cable.
Yeah. That about covers it, and it's impressive as fuck. Like, finding out how this movie was made me love it even more.
Yeah.
Which I do love this movie.
It's really good.
I really like it. It's a unique twist on all these recent witch-based horror movies.
Yeah.
One from the witch's point of view.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. And it's also just like as fucked up and as dark and as messy as it gets, because this is a horror movie and it does get there's some gruesome things. Like, for example, warning. Animals die in this.
Dude, so many animals get killed in this.
Animals get slaughtered in this, and you see the carcasses of dead animals all the time, and the bones, and even though the main characters are vegetarians, there's a lot of animals killed in the name of spells.
Yeah. So quite a lot of animal death.
Even though this movie gets gnarly and kind of gross at times, it's really touching, and also like, I don't know. It's a weird mix of emotions.
Well, yeah, because it's a movie about a mother and a daughter, and it has that kind of weird Addams Family twist because they're not human. They're not normal people.
No, they're not. And it's obvious
they do a lot of fucked up things just in the course of their existence.
Even though she's a teenage daughter, it's obvious that she's probably like over 80 years old.
Yeah. She's like, gotta be.
Yeah. Like, but she doesn't know that because she's been in the woods for so long that, like, she has no idea about time or, like how humans age or anything. Like, she doesn't even know that she's not human.
Yeah. She isn't even sure of that at the beginning. But that becomes more obvious very quickly.
Yeah, as the movie goes on and as they reveal more things.
Yeah. You could have just as easily have done this type of story with like a mother and daughter werewolf pair or something like that. You know,
you totally could have. You
know,
it really works with Witchcraft though, because one of the things I liked is that the slow revealing of the witchcraft.
Yeah,
like watching the mom like go into her little hut and then like start like pressing her hand against the wall and then like a key comes out of her hand.
Yeah,
it's like really cool imagery and shit like that. And you're like, what the hell is going on? Because they never sit down and have an explainy scene. There's no scene where someone sits down and explains what's happening. You're watching as the characters, as the main character figures out what she is, you're figuring out what she is.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of, the way the spells are cast early on.
Yeah.
You know, because it is one of those like...
That key effect will haunt my nightmares.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Every time that happened, I was like, that's so cool, but ugh.
Yeah, you thought the one from Lock and Key was weird.
Yeah.
You know, like this was like,
It felt like something like from the comic Lock and Key. That's what this felt like.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really, that's the basis of the story, and it's really, really good. Oh, but as I was saying, it's got that Addams Family kind of feel to it, because you're watching people who look human but kind of aren't.
Yeah.
You know, and they have this very different way of living that is much more violent.
Yeah.
You know, and much more brutal. But at the same time, the story is about the love between the mother and the daughter. So it's almost like, imagine taking the Addams Family dead seriously.
Yeah. That's
the fact that they like murder each other on a regular basis. Take that very seriously.
This is also an interesting movie because it's got the aesthetic of the more meditative, like indie horror movies that we see all the time.
It does,
but it actually is really well paced. Like it doesn't feel slow. And it doesn't feel like a slow burn. Like it's like only 80 minutes long, and it feels like it's 80 minutes long. Like you get to the end and you're like, oh shit, we're done.
That's it. That's the whole story. Yeah,
you know, even though it has the aesthetic of a Witch or any of the more slow burn horror movies.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's definitely got the aesthetic. I don't know if it's got the quality. It's not
the quality. Like the Witch like has
that's like a cut above.
I just mean the aesthetic of this particular type of indie slow burn movie. It feels like one visually, but it's not one. Right.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, it's a much more. I don't even know what you. Oh god, what? It's a much more like. It's weird because it is a much more standard family movie in its pacing.
It's a family drama with witchcraft and murder.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So if your problem with fried green tomatoes is they didn't eat more people.
Exactly. Like, what's this as a story about? Well, it's about a girl. She's coming of age. She's starting to become a young woman. And the mom wants to stop her from entering the world because it's dangerous, or she doesn't like who her daughter's going to become. Like which is a very standard teenage, story.
Yeah,
but with witchcraft and murder.
Yeah, it's also nice because it's both teenage angst and parental angst.
Yeah.
It does.
You see it from both of their perspectives.
Yeah. On the one hand, you're like, oh yeah, you probably should be like free to be who you are, and then the other time you're like, oh, actually, yeah, Ma, like, oh no.
Here's what I like about how morally gray this movie is, because from a moral and practical level, I'm sitting there going like, you know what? I'm on Mom's side. But from a personal growth and development level, the daughter needs to do this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Like, she actually needs to do this. Otherwise, she's forever going to be a child and never,
and that's not going to be good for
her.
You
got to grow up sometime.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the mom, as the movie goes on, you kind of realize that she's kind of right about things from a more moral and, like, ethical and, like, safety perspective. Like, And so I kind of like that the movie plays both those sides,
It does. It does that very well. And that's really the crux of the movie.
Also, another element I love that we should definitely mention before the spoiler section, the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
This movie has a soundtrack that's composed by the mother and daughter, who are real life mother and daughter, by the way.
Yeah.
Who are actually in a band, the two of
them.
Called Hellbender, which is a punk band in the style of like 70s and 80s punk.
Yeah.
We're talking like underground punk. Like we're talking Like,
oh yeah.
Or even 90s Riot Girl stuff. Like
actually, that might actually be a better comparison. Yeah.
90s Riot Girl stuff might be a better comparison. Like, we're just talking like this is straight up a punk band, and they throughout the movie play songs from that band, which is not only being played by the band in the movie, but it's also being used to score the movie.
Yeah.
You know, so you're like cutting montage style between the band playing their songs and the songs being thematically relevant to something that's happening in a scene in the movie. And the soundtrack is great. The band is great. Their songs are great. Like, it gives it this really awesome punk rock feel.
Yeah, it feels like punk rock by way of Indigo Girls.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Yeah, like now
the Cocteau Twins.
Now that I said it, Riot Girl's probably the best comparison for sure. Because and I really like it too, because it's like you have like this like very somber and like dark, almost Vivitch style opening scene set in ye olden times.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the credits with like the fucking punk rock music blaring. It's just like, Hellbender! And it's just like, okay, all right, you just set a tone that I love.
Yeah.
It's this kind of meditative, kind of visual tone. But then sonically you're punk rock.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And you can tell that the mom who plays the mom she's like older than I am. Mm. You know, she probably was like a punk rock back in the day.
I guarantee it.
You know?
I guarantee it. You know, it's kind of like how like my mom was really into classic rock, which is how I got into classic rock.
Yep.
You know, like I guarantee it's something like that. You know?
Yep.
And now the rock I listen to is now considered classic rock. So there we are, full circle.
Jesus. God, yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna have to adjust to a world where Smells Like Teen Spirit is light rock.
You want to know what I need to adjust to? This band is 20 years old.
Kill Switch Engage?
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay, that means. Oh fuck! That means fucking Slipknot is how old?
Yeah. Yeah. I went to their concert last week, and then they're like, "Thank you for being with us for these 20 years," and I'm like, "Oh shit." I remember buying
I went to a Gary Newman concert. It was next day. Gary fucking Newman.
It was like 2001 or 2002 or maybe even 2003. I remember buying their like first album and like
yeah. Like I mean I've been oh god yeah like sorry it was weird being at the Gary Newman show and just being like wait I think I've known the song In Cars for as long as I've known what music is.
Yeah.
You know?
It's fucking wild. But anyway, yeah, Hellbender. I highly recommend this movie. If you're the kind of person that's looking for more female-centered movies, this is a movie about a mother and daughter.
You definitely.
Then you definitely need to check this out.
Yeah, like this thing, let me put it this way. Bechdel test, no, we don't even need to bother. Like, no.
And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, we're going to move on to the spoiler section. There's not too much to spoil, but we're going to talk about it because we haven't really got into what the core conflict in the movie is.
Yeah. It is a pretty short and simple movie.
Yeah, like I said, it's like 80 minutes long, and when it's done, you're like, oh shit, it's done. All right.
Yeah, one thing I do want to point out is like there's a very slowly expanding number of movies where I'm sort of like, nah, that 90s feel, the feel of actually being in the 90s, nailed it. Like this movie nailed it. The other one that nailed it was Only Lovers Left Alive.
Oh yeah, I get that.
You know, because even though it's set in like 2016,
Only Lovers Left Alive is a great example of a movie that like has a similar aesthetic, even though it's not set in the woods,
right?
But is way slower.
Oh yeah,
like this movie has the aesthetic of a slower movie, but it's not slow.
Yeah, it's pretty brisk.
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, if you want the opposite, a movie that a gorgeous movie that takes its sweet goddamn time. But you'll love it anyway. Only Lovers Left Alive.
Also, if you like movies with, I don't know how else to put this, but violent lesbian overtones.
Definitely.
Yes. Definitely. It's never overt in the movie, but it's subtly there. Like,
oh, yeah. Definitely.
I'll talk more about that in the spoiler section, though. But again, warning, a lot of dead animals. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Just, if dead animals bug you, be careful.
Yeah, if you're like, hey, look, there's an animal that do not get attached.
Yeah.
Do not get attached.
And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, let us move on to the spoilers.
I gotta say, though, it was kind of nice to be able to go like, Well, this one we can definitively say a lot of dead animals.
A lot of dead animals.
Because sometimes we forget.
Well, here's the thing. We actually forgot when we did Texas Chainsaw Massacre that there was dead animals. Because we were like, oh, there's no dead animals in this. But literally, when they introduced Sally in that movie, she's slaughtering a pig.
Oh, shit, you're right. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like dogs and cats and things like that. I didn't think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
It slips through the cracks.
Yeah.
It's our mistakes. We film these vlogs off the cuff, and then I try, if I catch things while I'm editing, fix it. But even while I'm editing, sometimes I miss a detail.
Well, yeah, because like usually, because when you think about are there any dead animals, you usually think of like
dogs,
cats, a dog, a fuzzy animal that we're supposed to be emotionally attached to. When it's like a pig that's already on the rack, for some reason it doesn't automatically do that.
I forget what movie it was, but we talked about some movie where someone like killed I think it was a snake or something, and people got really mad.
Oh yeah,
and people got really mad.
Yeah,
that we
I
didn't
forget which
warn
one
them.
that was. But
And
like,
so,
yeah, that was another
like,
one where it was like,
and so after the snake, I'm like, okay, I got to be careful about all animals.
Yeah.
But anyway, Hellbender. Okay, so the main conflict in this movie, we kind of touched upon it a little bit in the non-spoiler section, but the actual details of it are these witches get their power from blood.
Yeah.
But specifically, blood that is consumed while the owner of the blood is experiencing fear.
Yeah.
So naturally, if you're like going to kill someone and you drink their blood, then that is the most potent shit.
Yeah. Because humans experience fear
and
acutely.
And in particular, fear in the face of death was another element that she talked about, because like she figured it out because she swallowed a worm.
Yeah.
Like the daughter like has one of those tequila shots because she sneaks out and meets some friends and then has a tequila shot with some friends. And the tequila shot has the worm in it. And so she swallows the worm. And the worm's fear going down and the consuming of the worm's blood makes her go into a hallucinogenic state where it's kind of like becoming a werewolf.
Yeah.
Like you're high, like you just took LSD or something. So it's all pretty colors and like, ooh, hey, I'm happy. But you now crave blood and you're now consuming blood like a fucking vampire.
Yeah.
And the more blood you consume and the more fear in that blood, the more powerful you get. So she starts learning to fly over the course of this movie. So basically, what ends up happening is you find out that part of the reason the mom has shielded the daughter from the rest of society is because she's a danger to the rest of society. She's going to do that. And if she does that, the society will become a danger to the daughter. So she's both worried for society and for the daughter, as well as herself, because there's an added element later on that it turns out the way witches reproduce in this universe is when a witch consumes their parent, they will become pregnant with the next generation.
Yes.
So if daughter were to eat mom would die and a new witch would form inside of her. Yep. And she would give birth and the cycle begins anew. Which explains the beginning of the movie, why we see the main character killing the witch. Yeah. And it turns out she's the witch because that's her mom.
Yeah. And it turns out that like grandma was nasty.
Yeah. Grandma was old school. She was like, nah, fuck humans. We're eating them. We're
gonna eat babies.
She was a powerful, monstrous witch. And the mom in this movie does not want that. She's hippie witch. She wants to live in the woods and eat bark. And like literally, I'm like, I know that you're vegetarian, but the shit you're eating is just like bark and like fucking like
bark and like nuts
dirt
and crap. Like whoa.
I was sitting there going like, I'm actually more grossed out by this than I am by the slaughtered animals.
Well, yeah, because there is something gross about watching someone actually like eat dirt.
Yeah.
And the little things that you find in the forest that you kind of instinctively go, don't eat that.
Yeah.
The
extra gross part where they eat the like fuzzy caterpillar, and I'm like, that's gotta feel weird in your teeth.
Yeah. Oh, get that stuck in your teeth. That's gonna be odd.
So not only are the witches kind of blood junkies, they get extremely powerful on the stuff. Like the daughter like creates an entire like mindscape underneath the cabin that they live in. That's like half her mind and half her stomach, I got the impression.
Yeah.
And she leaves a whole bunch of bodies down there and shit.
Yeah, that was weird.
So
Yeah.
basically, the daughter slowly starts to come into her own, realize that she's a blood drinker, and realize that with that comes power, and she never had this power before. And so she starts, eating animals and eating people. And Mom's got to stop her. Mom fails to stop her. And the movie ends with the daughter leaving her mom basically paralyzed in her mind stomach thing underneath the house and going like, I'm not going to kill you. I'm not ready to be pregnant yet, but I'm going to leave you here so you can watch. And then she goes off and then like it's like she came into her own, but she did it her way. Yeah. So it's like good for her. But at the same time, you're sitting there going like, that's good for her. Bad for everyone else.
Yeah.
But it's kind of punk rock in its own way.
Oh, yeah. No, totally.
And that's the movie in a nutshell. But.
Yeah. That's it. That's pretty much the movie. Yeah. It's really good.
The rest is just the experience.
Yep.
Of watching them cast their spells and shit.
Yeah, watching them cast their spells, watching the occasional person get killed.
Yep. Oh man, that first dude who dies when the mom is trying to protect the daughter from the outside world.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And just fucking like it disintegrates him from the inside. Yeah, she just
turns him into dust.
And just like, Jesus Christ. Fucking dude was just a lost hitchhiker. What the fuck?
Yeah. He's just
or a lost hiker.
Yeah. He just didn't know where he was, and she's like,
poor guy.
She's like, well, I gotta kill you. Huh?
And then when the sheriff guy shows up later, I'm like, no, dude, just turn away.
Yeah,
just run away.
Walk away. Just walk away.
And that fucking brutal scene, because the lesbian overtones in this movie that I was at least picking up on, I don't know how much of it was intended, but the daughter befriends this one girl. And at first I got the impression that daughter is attracted to girl because she keeps looking at her in this lustful way, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
Like it seems more than just friendship. It seems like I want to be with you or something. But as the movie went on, I'm like, was that lust or was that hunger?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't really know.
There's like a lesbian overtone there, but it's also kind of like not.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the movie, she figures out that's what she wants, and so she eats her.
Yeah, a lot of people get eaten.
So if you like fucked up lesbian stories where you not just want to fuck the person, but also devour them and eat them and consume their power, then this is the movie for you.
Yeah. This movie reminded me a lot of Thirst, actually.
Yeah,
in its tone, and because that also had a kind of a punk rock tone.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Absolutely. Anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, I don't know what more to say. It's a very simple movie, and we've kind of covered all our bases. I don't have any criticisms. I like this movie, and I think it just works as is. And I look forward to any more movies the Addams family want to put out in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
And with that said, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Oh, well, you can find me on Twitter at Counting Jack. And you might want to follow me because I stream throughout the week, and every time I stream, I send out a tweet that lets you know that I am online. You can also find me here on YouTube. I'm Count Jackula. And you can follow me on Instagram at Satanic Jackula. What about you?
Y'all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, and Facebook. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema, and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, then be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, if you made it this far into the vlog, then I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag
#EatYourParents.
Hashtag #EatYourParents. Comment below and work that into your comment however you please, and that way I know, that way Jack knows, that way the whole world knows you watch this vlog all the way through. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, we got one more vlog to record this week, and we're going to go do that. So, Peace out.